behavioral change consultant Johanse Ayodike joins me. Another interesting topic this morning, Johanse. Welcome.
Yes, Jason. Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning to everyone.
So this morning, Johanse is bringing to the table a quote-unquote topic entitled Extinction Burst, end quote. What's this, Johanse? I was trying to pick your brain sometimes.
Right.
Where are we going here?
Okay. So extinction burst, basically it's the frequency or the intensity, the increased frequency or increased intensity of a behavior when you change the reinforcement of it. So every behavior has a reinforcement. So every time you do something, if you get a reward, you reinforce the behavior. But when there's a stage when you realize you're not getting any reinforcement of the behavior, right? Either you start to intensify because you want that reward, or you start to do it a little more. So let me give a basic example. Let me say every day you pass, you just give somebody money, right? Somebody asks you, hey, let me get $1, you give them $1. So after a while, you're reinforcing the behavior, so they will be doing it automatically. So when you stop giving them it, either they will start to ask you more, that is the frequency, or they will, well, give me the $1 now, let me get a little more of it. So that is increasing the frequency. Now this extinction burst could happen both externally and internally. Because if you have a behavior, let me say, every time you want to relax, you smoke. Right? So there's a reinforcement of the behavior. But then you realize every time you smoke now, you're not getting the reward of relaxing. Either you will start to smoke more, or you might want to smoke something harder.
And again, it goes back to the mind, because lots of all of this is really, it's mental health matters. It's really mental, right?
Correct.
Because naturally, they always talk about behavior. I've heard the quote, probably you could confirm, they say you do something for a certain amount of days, it becomes a habit. If it's continued behavior. And I've always heard, and you could confirm or refute, one of the hardest things to break is really behavior, to mold and to change behavior, because breaking behavior would indeed ultimately break habits, sometimes bad habits.
And you see that break you're talking about, that is the burst now, because the habit is something that have life. And if you want to break it, means it's no longer alive, means it's extinct. So in that moment of breaking it, they saying it's darkest before the dawn, right? They always say the last mile is the hardest mile. So when you're about to break a behavior, you just get that rush and that intensity when breaking it. So it's to be aware. It's like, if you say, I am going to stop eating meat. I just give an example. All of a sudden, you see meat all over the place, right? You feel faith more. Whatever you decide you want to make extinct, you start to feel faith more. So to be aware of that extinction burst, that's internally.
Would you say stopping something cold turkey, whether it's a substance, whether it's something to do with your diet, some particular action, you just decide, okay, or you've been given advice to cease and desist? And people go through certain withdrawals, mentally, physically, and sometimes those withdrawals could be very traumatic.
Yes, because if your body accustomed doing something, or you're mentally accustomed doing something, and you change it, it's almost like you're in a different world, It's a new you. If you're accustomed having sugar, and your doctor say you're diabetic and you have to stop, sugar is a lot of your life. If you understand what I'm saying, you may be celebrating in a family line. You usually, that's how you cook. Now you have to change fundamental things in your world. So whether it is something in terms of a diet, in terms of a behavior, if you know you have to watch TV less because you want to study more, but watching TV is part of your world.
And how do we start to even approach that new lifestyle, that new habit, that new behavior that will be now, that was recommended, or will be, because we're talking here betterment, we're talking here trying to be the better person. Because I'm sure that is way easier said than done, you want to say.
Yes, way easier. But find a way to enjoy it. So let me give you an example. I remember sometime when wanted to lose weight, and I didn't like running, and instead of thinking about it as a workout, because work for me had negative connotations, I looked at it, I was training my body. So it became more enjoyable, right? if it is, let's say you have a new habit in terms of studying, let's say you have a new study habit, instead of looking at it as something hardship, I am creating a new life. So find a way, because the old habit used to bring you some sort of joy sometimes, some sort of comfort. So when you put in the new one, give it something to enjoy.
Would you sometimes, on this particular journey, do you sometimes need to switch up even your social settings, the people you hang out with?
Perfect, because the extinction burst, as I was saying before, sometimes is not only within you, it is within your environment. So if all the time they know when they come by your Hansi, they come by Jason, they get plenty food. So we reinforcing the behavior. They just come in and getting food. But after a while, you know, that's not sustainable. So when you stop giving the plenty food, people around, you know, what am to he boy, what going on with him? So when you change, right, sometimes the old you is now extinct. And the people around you still want that. So you get that burst, like, what happened to you? So they come at you more intense. What happened to the food? Where is the thing that I usually accustomed to?
And you know, that in itself could cause, I would imagine, tension, because people might say you switch up, you're moving different. And you just, so do you even have to explain yourself to people when you've made that change?
Now, have to? No. You don't have to do anything. But depending on who it is, you could give an explanation. And I was having a discussion recently, and what the person was telling me is, she was saying that right now even, that relationship with your parents sometimes have to change, because you know your parents might see you as a baby all the time.
Well, I mean, there's
right, as in a certain manner, yeah. But now you are your own person, and that relationship with your parents will change, but that sometimes is the hardest extinction burst.
Well, the thing is, you might want it to change, but there are some parents who will never let go of you being in that khaki pants with the tall socks and the blue shirt as a boy, or with the ribbon and the little primary school dress if you're a female. So you know what, I want us to have a part 2 with us, because this is such an interesting topic, and I'm glad you touched on that. I'll just give you a chance to put the closing remarks in.
When changing a behavior, it can become intense and difficult right before you reach that point of significant change. Don't make life complicated, because even though life is not easy, it's really not that hard. Thank you for listening.
Very, very important topic. I would love for us to do a part 2 on this, Yohansi. Yes, mental health matters. Another successful one on this, your Thursday. We come back, we're going to give you details, compliments our colleagues there at CUNA Caribbean Insurance. We're dealing this morning with critical illness coverage and final expense insurance. CUNA Caribbean, up next.